What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here to talk a little NBA playoffs and how they could or could not potentially impact card prices. And just really, this could be more of like a general NBA chat with some card stuff thrown in. But the NBA playoffs start in full later this evening as my Cleveland Cavaliers take on your New York Knickerbockers, along with a couple other games. At time of recording, I do not know who the 8 seeds are going to be. The Bulls game is just getting ready to tip, and then Thunder Timberwolves play later tonight. I'll go ahead and throw this out there right now. I'm going to say Thunder win and Bulls win. I will go with the road teams in those situations. The Heat just look like a team on vacation. This will probably sound real stupid tomorrow when they smack the Bulls by 20 or something crazy. And I just enjoy watching the Thunder. From a card perspective, I think it would be good for the Thunder to get in. I think regardless, the Thunder guys are going to be trendy this offseason. You were going to hear whether they win or lose tonight. Once again, you guys and girls already know the results. But regardless of what they do, the Thunder are going to be the team you hear about from the NBA masses, the media, the Twitter, all that nonsense. Because they're really good already. They don't have Chet Holmgren, and they have 15 first-round draft picks over like the next 4 years. SGA and Giddey and Jalen Williams are the 3 big ones. All those guys are very young. They are all very, very good. I could see them being very buzzy throughout the offseason. And if the Thunder make any moves at all leading in the next season, really they just need to get Chet back and get a little bit of front court help. And they are set. And they could trade for whoever and whatever they possibly could want to with the assets that they have coming, or just let it marinate for a little bit and see how things play out. But that team has advanced a lot quicker than I think people realize, and they seem ready. On the flip side of that game, once again, you all know what happened. Anthony Edwards looked not great in the first playing game. We'll have to see if he bounces back again. I don't think there's any really big card takeaways from Bulls Heat. No one really cares about Heat players. Sorry, Kenny Fornos. Tyler Hero, remember when that was a thing? Jimmy Butler, no one buys his rookie cards. Bam Adebayo, really good player. No one cares about his cards. Zach LaVine, same thing. DeRozan, same thing. There's just not a lot of hobby love in that game. And the Heat just like a team that want to go to Cancun. On the Western Conference side of things, we don't know who the Nuggets are going to play. Overall, this is going to be a legacy playoffs for the Joker. Joker needs to, at minimum, get all the way to the NBA Finals, or he is dangerously heading down that path of Steve Nash territory of guys that were really, really great players that never won anything. Now, he's still young. He's like 27, 28 years old, has plenty of time. But after winning multiple MVPs and falling apart in the playoffs, sorry, Splenda, he really needs to have a good deep run into at least the finals, in my opinion. He already does not have a lot of hobby love. His card prices are extremely reasonable considering the accolades that he has. If that was anybody else in the league that was remotely trendy, his stuff would be through the moon. I mean, his stuff sells for a fraction of Luka's, and he has 2 MVPs and has had a ton of success as a team. Suns Clippers, moving down the Western Conference list. No one cares about Kawhi Leonard from a card perspective. I'm painting with broad brushes here, people. Everybody relax. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot on the Clippers that is super exciting from a card world. Paul George, no one really cares. I should mention on the Nuggets, if MPJ has some crazy game or Jamal Murray has some crazy game or a crazy run in them, I could see them getting a little bit trendy. Back to the Clippers. Clippers gonna Clipper. I've been saying it for years. It's one of the catchphrases on the channel for anyone that's been around for a while. I think the Suns smack him around a little bit. KD and Booker stuff could get a little spicy. I think the Suns are going to make a deep run into the Western Conference playoffs. KD is obviously amazing. Really does also, another one, does not get a ton of hobby love considering what he has done. Now, he did it with Steph, but he's still one of the best all-time forwards to ever play the game. He is a ridiculous scorer. He is a freak of nature. They could have a really nice playoff run here if things fall right for them. And KD and Booker could put up some pretty big numbers. And Booker stuff got a little popular when they have made previous playoff runs. He's going to have some big game scoring and so is KD. For whatever reason, though, the market just does not love KD like it does some of the other guys. Kings Warriors, I'm going out on a limb. I think the Kings win this series. I really do. Everyone's picking the Warriors. I think the Kings are, I think they're going to win. The Warriors have been absolutely god-awful on the road all season. The Kings have been really, really good. Yes, they don't have the playoff experience. Yes, they're going up against the Warriors and Steph Curry and all that nonsense. But I just really like that Kings team. And I think if they come out and beat the Warriors, I could see Fox stuff getting really trendy. Keegan Murray's in products right now. I don't know that he's going to get a ton of playing time. Sabonis might get a little bit more love even as a big guy. But Fox is the one that has the potential to really maybe see a run up if they knock off the Warriors and he plays extremely well. Warriors, nothing crazy to say here. It's going to be a legacy for them. I mean, they pretty much, Steph basically has to win an NBA title for things to really move the number on his prices. Maybe they see a little movement. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, just to kind of sidetrack here for a second, as the playoffs go on, do we actually see a lot of fluctuation in card prices, or do they stay flat or trend down? I am sure, and I'm not talking about guys that like come out of the woodwork, like if some role player goes crazy, or like Keegan Murray, for example, if he just goes nuts in the first round with not a lot of market history and his stuff's pretty cheap. If it spikes to the moon, that's one thing. I'm talking more about established players like KD or Booker. You know, if they catch fire and, you know, tear it up for a couple rounds, do they see meaningful increases in prices? In the past, that has kind of happened. In this new world, we'll see if it does or not. I think that's really the biggest question that a lot of people are looking for. My gut tells me yes, we do, but obviously nowhere near as the extremes that we saw in years past. Grizzlies Lakers. I'm taking the Grizzlies. I honestly don't think this series is going to be that close. I get that the Lakers have the experience factor. I do have some concerns in regards to the front court with them missing Adams and Brandon Clark. If LeBron and AD are able to tear them up inside, get Triple J in foul trouble, I could see all that out there. But I just don't trust the Lakers' health, and I don't trust the Lakers' ability to be able to hang with a young Memphis team, running them up and down the court. John Morant cutting through them like Swiss cheese. I just don't think they have anyone that can handle them athletically. And over the course of what I would think would be a potentially long series, I think that youth advantage plays itself out over the wily vets. Obviously, John Morant's been a little bit all over the place this season, both on the court, off the court, and in your Zion case. But if he goes absolutely bonkers in playoff games beating LeBron and the Lakers, this is going to be a primetime series with a lot of eyes on it. He could potentially see some bump ups. LeBron, for him, I think it's going to take rings. I mean, he's at that stage of his career that just, you know, winning a playoff round and getting bounced doesn't really do anything to his prices. He really needs to get another ring, I think, to see a major level up in the short term. Long term, obviously, is a whole different story. But I'm going to take the Grizzlies in that series. My preseason pick was the Nuggets coming out of the West. I'm going to stick with that just for consistency's sake. I do think the Suns, though, with the trade to KD, if things come together and they could stay healthy, could give them a run for the money. But I will stick with the Nugs, my preseason pick. In the Eastern Conference, my preseason pick was the 76ers. Honestly, I think the Bucks probably come out of the East. I would like to stick with the 76ers. I love Embiid, but I'm worried about James Harden's Achilles injury. He has not looked the same most of the last part of this season. Maybe he was playing a little bit coy, but I'm a little bit concerned there, and I still don't know about that team mentally. If they get down or get in a dogfight of a series, are they going to be able to hang? Bucks, they're going to smash whoever comes out of the playing game that you guys and girls already know the results to. For them, from a hobby perspective, it's really all about Giannis. Middleton, Holiday, those guys really don't get a ton of love. Not saying that like these guys I'm saying don't get a ton of love couldn't see some price jumps or increases. They could, but we're talking about the major players here. Giannis, once again, I think much like LeBron, it's kind of title or bust, or at least making the finals or bust for him to move the needle. Guy has multiple MVPs already has one ring. A second ring would really level him up. He is currently the best player in the NBA. I know Embiid's the MVP and Joker's really good, but it's Giannis and it's not even close, in my opinion, for what he does on both sides of the court. If you're starting a team today, he is probably the number one pick in that draft because he is just an absolute freak of nature. Cavs Knicks. Oh boy. I'm honestly worried about the Cavs in this matchup. This is the Knicks match up really well with the Cavs, in my opinion. They have a big edge on the bench. The Cavs bench is a little thin, it's streaky, and I'm really concerned about the series. I honestly am. That being said, I think it's going to be super tight. It could go either way. I expect this to be a full 6 or 7 game series. I expect a good back and forth here. I think this is one of the best series of the first round. I think the Kings Warriors has the potential to be. Grizzlies Lakers, maybe. I think the Cavs Knicks is the #1 series of the first round by far. I did see right before I started recording that Julius Randle is likely to play tomorrow night. He's going to test it out. He's questionable, but that basically means he's essentially going to be back for a large part of that series. We'll see how he looks. But I am a little bit worried about the Cavs in this series. I'm not going to lie. I love my team. I think they're really good. They have an amazing top 4, but they don't have the role player bench guys quite yet. Rubio has not been that great this season coming off the ACL. Not surprising. Danny Green actually got a little spicy towards the end of the year. I don't know how much he's actually going to play. Okoro's knee, we don't know what the situation is on that at this point. Chetty, Lamar Stevens, and Dean Wade are all super streaky. Dean Wade was really good at the beginning of the season. He got hurt and just hasn't been the same since. And then it's the Cavs' big 4. They are a team, if they go on a run and they beat the Knicks and really take it to the mat, to the Bucks the following round, like Darius Garland is a player that I could definitely see getting a bump up in value. Full disclosure, I own a ton of them. But he's just one that hasn't gotten a lot of light shine on him this season because of Mitchell being there. But if he balls out in Madison Square Garden and has like a Trae Young game or something crazy like that, where he leads him to a victory. Same with Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is really, really good at basketball. I don't know that he'll ever get the Hobby Love because he's a big guy. Jared Allen, obviously, as well. But I could see, Garland would be one of the guys that I could see getting a bump up if he just comes out and goes absolutely crazy. But I think that's going to be a very, very good series. 76ers Nets. Mikal Bridges is going to be the big one from the Nets, and then Embiid and maybe Tyrese Maxey from the 76ers. I think the Sixers win this series. I think the Nets be a little bit feistier than what anyone is expecting. I still think it's probably a gentleman's sweep, unless Harden is really way more hurt than anyone's letting on. The Nets, fun team, deep, a lot of good players. They don't have the guy. Mikal Bridges is really, really good. I just don't know if he's your alpha. I think he's more of a Robin than a Batman, a really, really good Robin. But we'll see what happens in that one. And I don't know that they have anyone. Claxton's fine and all, but I don't think he's stopping Embiid. But there's always a random Embiid injury that can happen. There's a Harden injury that could happen. And then all of a sudden that could get a little bit spicy, especially if the Sixers get down a little bit. Celtics Hawks. I don't think the Hawks stand a chance here. Tatum and Brown, once again, they're kind of at that stage where they almost need to get to the NBA Finals to really move the needle. They were there last year, obviously got knocked off by the Warriors. Tatum really needs a title. Tatum's really, really good. He kind of had a weird second half of the season. It was good, but it wasn't as good as the first half. I just think he really needs that crowning achievement of an NBA title to really solidify his hobby value. He's getting to the point where I don't want to say people are getting bored of him not winning it, if that makes sense. People put all these hopes, dreams, expectations on these players, and then once, as we always say, reality happens. And then, when expectations meet reality, then usually things get ugly for card prices typically. And the expectation is that Tatum's an NBA champion, multiple NBA champion, eventually wins an MVP. That's what's on him. And the clock's ticking on that. And the longer that he goes without actually checking any of those boxes, the foundation begins to crumble a little bit on his prices, I guess is kind of where I'm getting at. And this is coming from someone that has a really nice Tatum Green Prism. And I love that card. Great looking card. So we'll see what happens with them. Hawks. The Hawks. They're messy. As a former Trae Young bag holder that got absolutely eviscerated when his prices tanked, could they win a game or two? Sure. That's a really bad matchup for the Hawks, in my opinion. Maybe Trae gets a little bit spicy. I have one last Trae Young card I would like to unload if they get a little bit hot, but I just don't know that I see it. This is like the worst draw that I think they could possibly get. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm going to take the Celtics in that one in kind of a landslide. I'll take the 76ers officially over the Nets. Cavs, Knicks, I'll take my Cavaliers, but I am nervous as hell about it for a first round series. That's the series I'm most excited for. Curious for what series you are most excited for out of the first round, and if you have an NBA Finals pick, feel free to list it down below. I'm going to go Bucks over Nuggets as my official for playoff predictions. That is all I have for you, boys and girls. We will catch you on the next one. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. It's finally time to watch real basketball, not the last whatever the hell's been going on the last couple weeks of the end of the regular season. So catch you, boys and girls, in the next one. Peace.